All information in this program is known to be accurate at the time of recording. Any commentary by the host is for discussion purposes only. Anyone labeled a person of interest by the host or family has not been charged with a crime. All suspects charged with crimes related or unrelated to a case covered are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Opinions and views expressed by the host do not represent views of the families or sponsors of this program.
The general public really never knows what happens after a person is reported missing. Countless missing persons flyers are everywhere. Retail stores, convenience stores, light posts, and even on social media. Only high-profile cases are seen on mainstream media. It seems like the rest of these cases just don't matter. And that has to change. And it starts changing now. From Grim Media, this is The Missing Matter, hosted by Steve Stone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Steve Stone, and this is something we're calling The Missing Matter. One of the things that we try to do and we want to do is get as many cases out as possible, even if it's cases we haven't covered, we want to cover, or we've covered in the past. Because it's important that these faces and these names and the families have constant support from everyone in the missing community. And mainstream media doesn't do that. And that's what we're trying to change. So there's been different iterations of something that we've done along these lines with the weekly remind or case revelations. But I felt that this was just a way that we can talk about cases, get their faces out there with their general information, and hopefully the video gets shared. And we're going to do this weekly or every other week and get cases out there for you guys to check out. And maybe somebody out there can help a family bring their loved one home. Before we get into today's video, if you are interested in helping us out and supporting the missing, supporting the families, giving them hope, there's only one thing you can really do, and that's subscribe to the Grim Truth Podcast YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of the Grim Truth Podcast, The Missing Matter, any other content related to the missing. Make sure you like the videos and leave a comment down below. Let us know how we're doing. The YouTube algorithm only works if you like and share the videos. The more that happens, the more these videos get out, the more opportunity that someone else that might not know about us sees this video and might be able to help a family member. So let's get into it. One of the cases that we are working on is a case that came to us from Williamston, South Carolina, tongue twister. Michael Curtis Thrasher. He went missing July 21st of 2017. He was 41 years of age, 5'5", 120 pounds. Michael has a goatee, generally keeps his hair shaved all the way down, bald, and has multiple tattoos, names and dates on his lower back, a skull on the back of his head, a tattoo that states white trash on his chest, a heart near his mushroom. He's got roses on a right arm sleeve, and then left arm sleeve of a woman's face and body. He also has the name Thrasher that goes around as an arch around the belly button area. This case, from what we understand now, is that he was living with someone and he just, quote, left all of his things behind. We are still interviewing people for this case, and we hope to be profiling very soon on the podcast, but we need your help, South Carolina. Anybody in the South Carolina area, close to Williamston, if you have any information about Michael Curtis Thrasher, please contact Detective Jody Culberson at 864-847-7425. Again, 864-847-7425. You can also contact our tip line, 321-343-4972. Again, that's 321-343-4972. If you need to, you can remain anonymous, but with a caveat that part of the problem with some of these cases is people are afraid to speak out. And the only way that we can find these people and bring, and if for some reason they met an end due to foul play, justice has to be done. We need people to come forward. We need people to be brave, honest, truthful, and come forward and help these families out. A case that we discussed last year, another Arkansas missing persons case, who we've got some information. We talked to a woman he was living with, and that's Thomas Carroll Hines of Benton, Arkansas. He went missing on September the 14th, 2021. 65 years of age, 5'8", 165 pounds, with brown hair, blue eyes. He is an endangered human being. Thomas suffers from dementia. He needs immediate medical attention. Was last seen wearing a gray t-shirt, gray shoes, unknown bottoms. I don't know if it was pants or shorts. He was last seen near the Allgood Street area. We will be profiling part 2 of his case on March the 10th. If you have any information on Thomas Carroll Hines, please contact the Benton Police Department, 501-776-5952. Again, 501-776-5957. You can also contact the Groom Street Podcast tip line. Again, if you need to, you can remain anonymous, but we need to bring Thomas home. It's been far too long for any of these missing folks. And Thomas, I speak with Eugenia on a regular basis, and all she's asking for is for the truth, for him to come home, find out what happened, and hopefully somebody out there can do that. We have a lot of cases in Arkansas. Another one we're going to get to here. Two more we're going to get to in a second. And hopefully you guys that I've worked with in the past on the Andrew DeWeese case, and several other cases in Arkansas, maybe you guys can spread the word and get this case out. I've learned yesterday that a lot of people, there's a circle of people that know a lot about maybe people they've hung around with or other associates that might know the individual. So any help would be grateful, and we thank you for that. Another case that we're going to be featuring in a couple of weeks is that of Jessica Stacks. We're going to feature her case finally on March the 24th. Jessica, her case has had some media coverage, and I think that's fantastic. Her case, really, there's only one area to look. She went missing from New Albany, Mississippi on January the 1st, 2021. She was on a boat on New Year's Eve with her boyfriend. They were in the Tallahatchie River, and about 10 a.m. the day she disappeared, according to the boyfriend, got out of the boat and walked back to the highway. Now, there was a recent article on News Nation on newsnation.com about the boyfriend changing the story. There was a candlelight vigil earlier this year to mark the unfortunate missing, the date that she went missing. Now we're going on year 2, and the boyfriend changes the story. We're going to dive in a little bit into this case with as much detail as we can, which we've been provided in the hopes that somebody out there knows what happens and maybe somebody could come forward. Jessica's case, again, is it's not necessarily one that gets the high-profile attention that it deserves, because there's a lot of high-profile people involved in her case. But again, it still needs to be put out there, and it needs attention. Again, Jessica went missing on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, 2021. Any information on her case, Case number there is 21-0003. She also has a NamUs profile, hashtag M as in Mary, P as in Paul, 77509. Please call Union County Sheriff's Office at 662-534-1943. Again, 662-534-1943. You can also reach us at the tip line, 321-343-4972. If you need to, you can remain anonymous. I have been talking with someone about Jessica's case, and I'm hoping that we can do whatever we can to bring about a resolution in her case, and hopefully get answers for her family. Her mother is obviously, how any mother could be, torn up and needs answers. And I know that in conversations with her in the past, she felt like she was fighting an uphill battle. But I do believe that there's enough people out there that do the right thing and help find out what happened to Jessica. Again, there's really only one area to look at, and people know who I'm talking about. Another case that we're going to be talking about tomorrow on the podcast, on the Grim Truth Podcast. Please make sure you tune in. Another Arkansas case. What made this case worse, we'll get into in a second. But this is going to be the case of Spencer Clark. There's a $3,000 reward information on his whereabouts. So he went missing between the 23rd and the 24th of Christmas that just passed. He was staying at a hotel, left the hotel. He checked out, we believe, Christmas Eve, but that wasn't the last time he was seen. Last time he was seen was coming back to the hotel looking for a phone, his phone, that he believed he left at the hotel. Now, we know that he did, in fact, leave the phone at the hotel, because the phone was found in the possession of a worker at the hotel. And now we're not saying that they had any involvement in this disappearance, but we believe the phone was left there. The person found it. It is now in the possession of law enforcement. What makes this case doggone more tragic is that his mother, Tanya Bull, has just passed away last week. And I was in steady communication with Tanya when we talked about the case in an original interview we did for the podcast that's coming out tomorrow, as of the time of this recording. But I talked to her when she was in the hospital, and she sounded in good spirits. We were talking about the things that were going on with the police department and whom I had spoken to, and then I hear that she passed. And this mother passed away not knowing where her son was, and that is tragic. The great thing about the nothing's great about this case, but the bright spot about this case, this particular case, is law enforcement is involved. They are doing something, and that's a good thing. I spoke to Dylan, his brother, this week, out of just respect, because I had interviewed people, including Tanya, and I wanted to make sure it was okay that we used her interview in the podcast. And Dylan was so gracious for allowing us to go ahead and do that. And if you can, folks, just say a little prayer for this family. We should all pray for the families of the missing, but in a particular situation like this, where the mother passes away not knowing where her son went. And if you can do me a favor too, just comment your prayers down below. I'll make sure that Dylan and the family see it. If you can just comment down below, say a prayer, any well wishes for the family and support for the family at this terrible time, that would be great. So Friday, tomorrow, we will be airing his episode 42, Finding Spencer Clark. That's going to come out tomorrow on the Grim Truth podcast. But we just want to go ahead and give out his the vital statistics here. 34 years of age, 6 foot, 190 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. He has a large Dreamcatcher tattoo with a bear paw in the middle of his left chest and a roughneck tattoo on his shoulder. Again, last seen near this hotel looking for his phone. Any information, you can contact law enforcement at 501-889-3309. Or you can contact the podcast tip line 321-343-4972. Again, 321-343-4972. His case number is 22-0582. If you need to, you can remain anonymous. But again, a lot of these cases need someone brave enough to stand up and say enough is enough. Let's get it taken care of. Now, I have taken on several, I believe these are high-profile cases, but they don't get covered as much as they should. And I want to talk about them because when we got back to work in late January, February, we started getting information about a specific case, and that involving Andrew DeWeese. And I'm going to bring up a name right now that I've talked about before, and I'm going to talk about again. And we're talking about Jaden. Now, if you're not familiar with Jaden, you can go back and watch, and I will leave a card up top here where you can check out the part 2 I did on Andrew DeWeese, where I talked about some names of people whom a source has told me either were involved or had knowledge of Andrew's disappearance and his homicide. Jaden's name came up again, and what I believe is that the chickens are coming home to roost. And I don't know what's going to happen as far as the investigators. I talked to the family yesterday at the time of the recording, and I feel that they're getting a raw deal. They seem to be focusing back on the family having something to do with this. And I'm here to tell you, folks, I'm here to tell you right now that Elijah DeWeese has had absolutely nothing to do with his brother's disappearance. I'm willing to stake money and my reputation that he did not have anything to do with what happened to his brother. Period. Now, the cops, I believe, are trying to find, if they're working on it, are looking for an easy way out of this. And that can't be further from the truth. We know things. This whole case revolves around Nicole Boiler. And when her name comes up, other names come up, including Jaden's name. I'm not saying he had something to do with this. Other people are saying he has had something to do with this. And if you want to clear your name, hey, come on to the podcast and clear your name. Come on the podcast and say you had nothing to do with it. Put it on the record and get it out there. Nicole Boiler, same thing goes for you. Heck, I'll even pay you to come on the podcast and answer tough questions, because Andrew deserves it. His family deserves it. His friends deserve to know. And again, the truth has to come out. And the only way that's do that is if people will stand up and talk about it openly. So there it is. I'm offering people to come on the podcast and explain themselves. I've been threatened with lawsuits before. I'm fine with that because I'm not breaking any laws. I have sources, and if something keeps popping up, then it is what it is. And more than welcome to clear your name. All you got to do, I'm really easy to find. Get in touch with me, stevestone@thegroomtruth.com. You can message me. You can call the tip line. I'm easy to find. And I'm serious. Nicole, you want to talk? Hell, I'll pay you to come on. Come on, answer tough questions, but it's got to be guaranteed or you don't get any money. End of discussion. I want everybody to know, though, that Andrew DeWeese is important to me. This case is important to me, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to find Andrew. Period. End of discussion. And that's just the way that's going to be. Offer stands, take it or leave it. Finally, Chris Sanders. A while back, we had an eyewitness come forward, whom I've talked to on the phone several times, about a timeline that does not go with the timeline that about Chris Sanders' case, about he ran off and disappeared into the night or into the morning, and instead it was at night. Two eyewitnesses said they saw this car, a car just like this, an early 2000 to 2005 golden color Chevy Impala on the side of Interstate 20, along with another vehicle where someone matching the description of Chris Sanders was walking, apparently incoherently or staggering in distress on the date he disappeared. Now, this, I believe, is the exact car that was spotted, and somebody knows something. It's important that if anybody has information on this car and who they might believe, we have an idea who was driving the car, but I'm not going to let that out of the bag just yet. But if you have any information about this car related to Chris Sanders in any way, shape, or form, or you saw it on Interstate 20 on August the 13th, 2017, contact me at 321-343-4974. That's the tip line. You can also email me, stevestone@thegroomtruth.com, or hit me up on Facebook Messenger, like most people do. That's how most people get in contact with me. There is a $10,000 reward to bring Chris home, but you have to earn it, folks. Nothing is going to be handed to you. You have to earn it, and we believe that this car is the key, one of the keys, many keys to bringing Chris home. Again, later on this month, I am going to have a new podcast out on Chris that is going to just open the floodgates. And I'm doing it for one purpose. He's been missing for over 5 years. Sandy Sanders alleged this earlier in the year, and I honestly believe her. There are people that say that they're friends. Oh, Chris is my friend. He was my brother. He was my dog. He was. Where you at? Well, where are you? What are you doing? And people know what happened to Chris. Let's just put that out there. Close people to Chris know what happened to Chris. And set that aside. Understand that we know. We're not stupid. And we're working on something big. And I can't wait to just pop open this can of worms and watch people scurry like cockroaches. Because here's the deal, folks. And this is all I'm going to say. Wrap this video up. His wife, other than doing a news interview and a couple of podcasts, really hasn't done much of anything. She has not been at any rallies other than a prayer vigil that we're not going to go there. She did go on a news show a couple of months back, and I'm not going to comment on that either. But when it came to actively looking for searches or doing searches or doing the things that needed to be done, where was she? Nowhere. She was selling his stuff. She was getting the RV and the Tahoe and bringing it back. So where did Chris? If Chris was coming back, he had no place to come back to. That's odd. So instead of handing out flyers, demanding him to be found, she blamed everything on Sandy. Everything was Sandy's fault. Not taking any ownership to the fact that her husband's missing. She's not doing anything. She's not yelling at the cops. She's selling the stuff. She's getting rid of it. She says it was hers. No. So we need your help finding this car. We're going to get into this at the end of the month. I promise you more details will be coming up on that. If you've seen this car, let us know. Again, contact me, 321-343-4974. $10,000 cash money. Bring Chris home. And we're going to get into a lot of people. We're naming names, folks. I can't wait. Because I want to see people, when you go into your house. In Florida, we got bugs. You turn the light on, and the cockroaches, pew. I don't have a lot of cockroaches. I'm just using that as vernacular. I remember going into houses that we were helping serve warrants on, and you flip the light on, the roaches just run. Poof, they're gone. That's what's going to happen here. I guarantee it. That's going to wrap this video up. Again, tomorrow we are going to have episode 42, Finding Spencer Clark, on the podcast. Please join us. Subscribe to the Grim Truth Podcast YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of the podcast. That's how you can help. We're going to talk about how you can join the Grim Guardians on YouTube. We're going to talk about that as well. We're trying to build a channel here that's strictly for the missing and their families, and we want to continue to be a voice for the voiceless in search of the truth. Thank you for tuning in to The Missing Matter. I'm Steve Stone. God bless, and we will see you later.